Hatsune Miku is not a hologram. Hatsune Miku is a piece of software. Hatsune Miku is a singer. Hatsune Miku is an instrument. But most importantly, Hatsune Miku is a community. The community behind the phenomenon of Miku is what truly makes her who she is. It's a community made up of musicians, visual artists of all kinds, video editors, cosplayers, costume designers, lyricists, 3D modelers, dancers, translators. There's so much talent, so much skill, and so much love for Miku and Vocaloid here. The spirit of collaboration between creators in this fandom is truly like no other I've ever been in. So when I say Hatsune Miku is not a hologram, I do mean it in the quite literal, rather pedantic sense that her concerts have never featured a true hologram. That technology just doesn't exist yet. Her concerts in the past have been performed using projection on a glass screen. This is an effect other artists have used before and since. And yes, this subject is a pet peeve of mine, can you tell? But I also mean that that is not all there is to Miku. And that is not all there is to a Miku Expo concert. Look, I'm not making this video to dissuade anyone from being mad about the fact that there was no communication about how this tour would look rather different from previous tours. Like on previous tours we had gotten the glass screen version of Miku, and I won't lie, it does make for a very different experience, and a more unique one. It lends itself well to the illusion of Miku really being present on stage because the glass has no visible borders. But I have seen some misconceptions about it that I just wanted to clear up real quick before I move on. One being that no, you cannot see Miku from every angle with the glass screen version. Miku is merely light being projected onto a screen that is still flat, so if you view it from the side, she will still appear warped and flattened out just like the LED screen. That's why I say she's not really a hologram. In theory, a hologram should be visible from all angles. And no, the glass screen version of Miku is not bigger than the LED version. Something that Miku concerts have always done in order to keep that illusion of Miku being an actual person on stage is that they have always kept her canon height 5'2" in concert. Same thing with the other Kryptons, they are all average human heights when performing. So those couple of things aside, we did get the LED screen instead of the glass with no warning. We had mishaps with ticket sales and merchandise sales, along with many other issues that I and many others have complained about. And people were understandably upset about those things. But the show went on. The concert happened anyway, and was it worth it despite all of that? I would say absolutely yes. As someone who has been a Vocaloid fan since 2009 and went to her first Miku concert in 2014, what I've learned from years of attending these concerts is that, at least for me, it really is the community that makes these shows what they are. When I arrive at a Miku Expo show hours ahead of when the concert is supposed to start and I see fans giving out gifts, often handmade, or taking care of each other by sharing their sunscreen, giving out water, offering to hold each other's spots in line, despite being complete strangers in many cases, I remember why I enjoy it so much. The concert is great, yes, but the people who attend are even better. And that's not to discredit the concert itself. The Miku Expo band this year, and in previous years of course, have always been amazing, have always breathed new life into the songs performed, and the visuals and choreography are always a joy to watch. Getting to hear Vocaloid music performed live is still such an amazing thing to me. That's another thing, I saw a lot of backlash over the song selection in this year's setlist, especially over the fact that many of the songs were in English and some fans didn't recognize them. This year being the 10th anniversary of Miku Expo, they chose a lot of Miku Expo theme songs and contest winners from previous years. I thought it was a nice touch and a nod to all the Miku Expos that came before. It's wonderful to me that Western Vocaloid producers get a chance to be put on a big stage like this, and I love being exposed to new Miku songs I might not get to hear otherwise. I've been to many concerts over the years, of all kinds of artists, and I'm sorry to say, but you can never expect any artist to play just their classics over and over every tour. That's just not the reality of concerts in general. I can understand why newer fans are upset about not hearing, say, Poppy Po, Luka Luka Night Fever, or other classics like that, but I think it's important to curb your expectations, and be open to experiencing new songs that you haven't heard yet. It is totally up to you how you choose to enjoy a Miku concert, but I genuinely think that you are missing out if you don't arrive early to interact with other Vocaloid fans before the show, if you are able. Now listen, I'm saying this as an extremely socially awkward person. Somehow I've always managed to find someone new to talk to at Miku Expos, on the few occasions I've found myself waiting without any friends. Some of my favorite moments from Miku Expo are not even from the concert itself, but the time spent waiting beforehand. Waiting with friends at a nearby cafe for hours, running around taking pictures of and with cosplayers before the show, exchanging handmade gifts with fellow artists in line, collecting business cards of Vocaloid producers and artists like my own personal trading card game deck, waiting in the crowd and talking to strangers you just met about extremely niche vocal synthing. I haven't been to any other event in the US where I could actually talk to random people about my favorite non-Vocaloid vocal synth and have them actually understand what I'm talking about. But I got to experience that in the crowd of Miku Expo Atlanta, and it gave me so much joy. This year I went to Miku Expo LA, Atlanta, and Mexico City. None of them had the classic projection style of Miku, and while I can't lie, I missed that version of Miku & Co. Even still, I did not regret going to a single show. I would have gone to even more if I could afford it. Something that is hard to really articulate unless you've been in the Vocaloid fandom a while and been to Miku Expo is just how small of a world the Vocaloid fandom can be. I've made friends all over the world through being a Vocaloid fan, and I swear those connections I've made always end up connecting back to each other in some way. One of my favorite examples of this was how I met my friend Hisoku the day after Miku Expo LA back in 2018. It was a complete chance encounter where I just happened to be walking by him on a random street in LA, and he yelled, "I love your Mako Ita bag," as I was going by. I yelled back, "Thank you," and I was gonna keep walking, but decided to go out of my comfort zone and actually strike up a conversation. We talked for a bit and asked for each other's handles on Twitter to keep in touch, and then realized while we had never interacted before, we both knew who the other was. I knew of him because he was a friend of a friend who I would see posting online, and I swear it feels like every person I meet in the Vocaloid fandom is a friend of a friend or knows someone who knows someone, etc., until it just comes back around. To paraphrase the lyrics of the iconic song Tell Your World by KZ, the lines of the connections we've made become a circle, connecting everything, connecting to everywhere. And that's the beauty of being able to experience the community in person at these concerts. You get to really connect in a way that isn't possible online because you're there in the moment. You can really be a small creator in the Vocaloid fandom, but as long as you're well connected and have made friends and engaged with others in the community, you really never feel lonely. My friends Ankari and Juvia from Malbox explain this best. In this fandom, you can feel like you're a relative nobody in the grand scheme of internet virality and fame, but if you found your niche, your audience in the Vocaloid fandom, it's like you've truly found a community of people who will care about what you put out, and will form meaningful connections with your art, and will be excited for the art you'll make in the future. People who will be excited to meet you in person and talk to you despite you feeling like you really don't warrant that type of admiration and interest. And even if they don't feel like they deserve it, boy did I get to see firsthand that Mailbox definitely has passionate fans and admirers. Fans who were so excited to meet the three of them at Miku Expo that they were literally screaming. It was such a joy to watch, and so well deserved in my opinion. I'm a relatively small artist in the Vocaloid fandom, but even I felt dumbfounded by some of the reactions I got when people met me in person at the Miku Expo shows I went to. I can't express how touched I was by the amount of love and appreciation I received from fellow Vocaloid fans. At one point, someone asked me if I was an influencer because people kept coming up to talk to me and get a sticker from me. I had to set them straight and be like, no, I'm not really anybody. And it's not that I think poorly of myself or my place in the fandom, it's just that I really don't have that many followers. So even I was surprised when people wanted to talk to me or take pictures with me, or in one instance that felt absolutely fucking bonkers to me, sign their album? Insane. And really, what other chances are there to meet so many of the people in the Vocaloid fandom that you are friends with or admire? Miku Expo really brings fans together like no other event does. So when I say attending the concert is absolutely worth it, LED screen or glass or whatever, all other issues be damned, I am here for the community and the culture of Vocaloid more than anything else, and because of that, I personally have not been disappointed once. So thank you to the Miku and Vocaloid fandom for being so cool. Remember to remove the batteries from your light sticks so as not to damage them, and I'll see y'all next Miku Expo North America. Thanks.